The RV Show USA is brought to you by Rockwood, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
Last week, we tried a little experiment. We did kind of a live RV review with our friend Zach Reininger from the Flagstaff Rockwood division of Forest River. The concept went over really well. Technology in terms of a strong Wi-Fi signal, not so much. From the green room, let's bring up Zach. So how do you think it went last week, Zach?
Well, from my perspective, it went great. So I talked to my wife afterwards, and she said it was great, and so I couldn't hear you for a couple minutes. So I think we lost connection there for a little bit, but otherwise, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome.
Well, I think the concept is something that people really seem to like. So tonight, I guess you're not on location. You're hunkered down in your house. We're going to drill down on some of the things that you mentioned last week. Where do you want to start, Zach?
I know you and I kind of talked a little bit, some of the more impressive things that we touched on last week that I think resonated with you and some of your viewers was the safety of, between our axles, our brakes, and our tire pressure monitoring system. So some of that, if you're comfortable talking about that, I think some people have had some more questions about that if you'd like to jump into it.
Yeah, hang on just a second. Folks, Zach, as I mentioned, he works for the Flagstaff division of Forest River, and Flagstaff Rockwood is a part of this education initiative where they're trying to build a bridge, and with this open line of communication in real time with you and me, the consumer, with the RV industry. When people say that all RVs out there made today are junk, it is absolutely not true. And the people from Flagstaff Rockwood, while I'm not quote-unquote a spokesperson for them, I'm very grateful that they've got people like Zach that are willing to educate us and show us why some brands are so well loved, like Flagstaff and Rockwood. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start with the suspension, Zach.
Yeah, and again, Alan, as I always tell you, thank you so much for what you do and for having us be a part of it, because it's so important right now more than ever. And, I guess to start with just the axles in general, most people, I think, when they enter this industry, if they've never owned anything before, just assume an axle's an axle. You don't really think about it on your vehicle. What kind of axles are you using on your truck? I don't know. Well,
right.
There is a difference in what we do versus what all of our competitors do. And a typical product is just kind of a leaf spring suspension. It's tried and true. It works fine, but it's very spongy. There's a better way to do it.
And the leaf spring is bumpity. It subjects your RV, your travel trailer, to every single imperfection in the road, right?
Absolutely. And anybody that's ever towed will know that feeling of just kind of that wavy ocean type feel as you're towing it down the road, because that's what it's designed to do. It's just using steel to dampen when it's going down the road.
And that's standard on almost every travel trailer, right?
Absolutely. That is pretty much what you're going to find out there. We, like most things we do, we go a step further and do things a little bit different. And we use a system called the Dexter Torque Flex axles. It's a lot to say at once. Bottom line, what it gets for our customers is going to be a few things. One, it's independent suspension. So rubberized automotive grade bushings. Each wheel is going to operate independent of the other, much like your tow vehicle. What that means for our customers is it's just a better ride, right? I mean, you're going to have rubberized suspension. If you hit a pothole or a bump with one of your tires, your whole trailer doesn't go up with all of your tires. So it's much more comfortable. It's safer as well from the standpoint of, let's say, Alan, you're trying to get out of San Antonio in the afternoon and you get a flat tire. In a traditional trailer, you're dead in the water on the side of the road. You've got to pull over right there and change that tire. Mm-hmm. With this product, the way these axles are, you could keep going to a safe exit. Now, you might shred up a little bit of a tire, but you're going to at least get to safety before you can do it. Or if worst case scenario, you can actually pull one of your 4 tires off and run on 3 wheels to get to that exit and get to safety with your family.
And that's
standard.
A big deal.
That's something most people don't ever think about.
This is standard on you guys' travel trailers.
Absolutely. Everything we build.
Okay,
we build Flagstaff and Rockwood.
So your suspension allows for a smoother ride, which to me sounds like also it's going to save me money from maintenance, because the inside of the RV is not going to be rattling like crazy. And it's going to last longer. I mean, years and years longer, because, our highway system in a lot of states is pretty crappy.
Yeah. We need some infrastructure, that's for sure.
Heck yeah. So a lot of less potential maintenance. So what kind of maintenance do we have to do on these torsion axles?
Nothing. Drive it.
Really I like that.
Axles. Yeah, I mean, it's, just go enjoy it. And you hit on something that's so important that most other brands don't think about. They look at our axles and they think how expensive they are. because they are more money to do. But what they don't think about is the longevity factor. From those axles up, everything else takes less abuse, which means less problems for our customers, less warranty issues, less warranty claims and labor that we have to pay. It's an investment that pays dividends, both in the form of safety for our customers, but also a more enjoyable experience. So that's a very big deal, and there really is not a lot of maintenance you need to do. They have a 10-year warranty on that axle, which is pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. And they also come with, Alan, something else to touch on with those axles is the never adjust brakes that we have on those with a 5-year warranty. And that's standard on everything. And this is something that I talked about last week and just touched on, and this is something almost no one, even in the industry, on my side of the business, on the dealer side, most people don't know this, but in a traditional axle system, after the first 250 miles that they tow a trailer, you're supposed to stop, lift up that trailer, spin your wheels around, get an Allen wrench around back in the and in the brakes there, and adjust your brakes.
Really?
And you're supposed to do that every 1,000 to 1,500 miles in perpetuity.
You don't think everybody does that, Zach?
I don't think anybody even knows that, Alan.
Oh,
and it's until you dive into learning more about the never adjust axle or brakes that we have, which means basically over time they're going to self-adjust. So they're going to notice the tension on the pads and everything there, and they'll self-adjust. So you never have to worry about it. Yeah. And I know Dexter does a bunch of great videos on this, but they show some of the stopping distances on the never adjust brakes versus a traditional travel trailer, especially one that is not in proper adjustment. It's significant. I mean, we're talking very, very, very significant stopping distances. So
what about
safety feature, peace of mind.
What about the wheel bearings? Because the maintenance on wheel bearings, I think, with what you guys have at Flagstaff, is it's dummy proof. Anybody can maintain their wheel bearings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, basically, for lack of a better word, it's called a grease zerk, but you put a grease gun on the end, pull a little rubber cap off, put it on, you pump some grease in there. It's actually going to push the old grease out and back through into a channel there. So it's always making room for you to put new grease in. And the reason for your listeners that you want to do that is the bearings are what help it run around the hub there, which keeps it running smoothly. You want to keep grease in there just so that they don't get overheated, because what can happen when they overheat those hubs, it'll actually heat up that wheel itself, which then transfers to the tire. And that's where, like when you're going down the highway and you see that the retreads from the semis that have all blown apart.
Yep.
It's because they reach 212 degrees basically as the separation point of a tire. Often a bad or a stuck non-greased bearing will heat that wheel up to the point that it'll cause that tire to overheat and separate. So that's another safety feature there, not just in the bearings, but also that kind of leads us into the tire pressure monitoring system.
I was going to ask you about tires, because the tires that you're putting on the Flagstaff, Rockwood, all of them, I believe, are the Goodyear Endurance tires. They're not China bombs.
Correct. And now there's one caveat with that, and that's on our E-Pro and Geo-Pros with the off-road tires. We're using a Westlake tire on those they're a killer tire. It's way overbuilt for that product. It is not the old Castle Rock China bomb, if you will. Yeah. So everything else is Goodyear Endurance. And so the tires they're radial, they're a name brand, they're a great tire. But that tire pressure monitoring system, and I talk about this all the time because it's very important, is most brands just do a valve stem, it Bluetooth to your phone, and it tells you, okay, you can check your tire pressure. That's great. Ours is real time, steel banded around the inside of the tire, around the wheel itself, the aluminum of the wheel. Steel banded in there. And what it's going to do for you is it's the entire time you're going down the road, you have a monitor that's in your truck, and it's monitoring not only your tire pressure, rapid tire pressure loss, but in my personal opinion, the biggest safety one there is tire pressure or the tire temperature.
Yes.
So it's monitoring that like I was talking about those bearings. A lot of people will either overload their trailer, underinflate their tire, or they have a bad bearing or a brake is dragging, and it heats up that wheel, that heats up the tire, that then the tire ends up exploding because, like I said, that 212-degree point, the tire separates. So people blame the tire a lot of times when in reality there's often things that are preceding this, and it's preceded by a spike in temperature.
Yes.
With our system, it's going to be alerting you saying, Alan, hey, your right rear tire, the temperature keeps climbing up. We don't know what's going on. It's alerting you so that you can get to safety. You can inspect it yourself, but there's also a hotline you can call. They have the best customer service in the industry. They're one of the largest suppliers to trucking fleets out there. And you can call them, and they'll help you troubleshoot.
From what I understand, that the tire pressure monitoring system that you use, it's the only approved system on every RV Forest River manufacturers. That's a huge deal.
Absolutely. It's a very big deal. And it's, we were Flagstaff and Rockwood were the first ones to actually adopt this platform. And so we started off with them, and because we had faith in the product, and then we got them into Forest River and got them, because it's such a great product, it's now certified for all of our brands. Yeah. And I can't say enough good things about this product and what it does for peace of mind for our customers and safety. And that's where last week we touched on it a little bit, and we're obviously able to go a little deeper today, but just the combination of our axles, the independent suspension, our never adjust brakes, Goodyear or Westlake tires, which are great tires, and this tire pressure monitoring system, that's where I come back where I say, I think we have the safest towing trailer in the market, which to me is so massively important for all of these, especially first-time buyers that just don't know what they don't know yet.
And that's why these educational segments are so powerful. When people, they can listen, and these live segments like this, hopefully we're going to be able to do lots more of these in the future and expand them even to where we'll be able to take questions, and the public can make comments and ask you questions all in real time. So I just think this is such good information to share, and I'm very grateful for you spending some time with us tonight.
Absolutely. Alan, thank you very much. Thank you to your viewers. And as I think there's so much we can go into on the Flagstaff Rockwood product that we have plenty of opportunities to do a lot of shows here on specific features of it. So if anybody has questions or comments, we're happy to address it in any of the future ones. So thank you very much for everything you do.
You betcha. We'll catch up again soon.